In the emptiness of space, the Volari Outpost 7 orbited a lifeless moon. The small station's delicate antenna arrays constantly scanned the surrounding sectors, searching for any signals among the cosmic noise. Officer Tay sat at the monitoring station, his compound eyes reflecting the soft blue glow of the terminal. Another quiet shift, he muttered to himself, adjusting his slender appendages on the control panel. Then it happened. A faint signal, barely distinguishable from background radiation, appeared on his screen. Tay leaned closer, his antennae twitching with interest. The pattern was regular, too regular to be natural. He quickly ran it through the analysis system. "Commander Hyun," he called out, his voice carrying the distinct chittering accent of the Volari. "I've detected something unusual from Sector 219. Commander Hyun approached with measured steps. Unlike most Volari, she had spent decades among other species and had adopted a more deliberate pace. "Show me," she said simply. The signal displayed on the main screen, a repeating pattern that pulsed with eerie regularity. "It's coming from an uncharted system, third planet from the star," Tay explained. "The signature suggests primitive radio technology, but the message structure indicates intelligence." "Can we decode it?" Hyun asked, her mandibles clicking with curiosity. "Already working on it," Tay replied. The system worked through possible translations until fragments began to make sense. The message was simple and chilling: "Help us. They are coming. Help us." Commander Hyun's exoskeleton stiffened. A distress call from a pre-FTL civilization? This violates standard protocols. Science Officer Jun joined them at the console. "We should ignore it," he said flatly. "Confederacy regulations are clear: no contact with developing worlds." Hyun remained silent, considering. After 20 years commanding this outpost, she had learned when rules needed bending. "Prepare a stealth probe," she finally ordered. "We'll observe only." The probe launched hours later, slipping into the uncharted system undetected. For 3 days, the Volari crew waited anxiously for data. When it finally arrived, the images stunned them into silence. The third planet, blue and green like many life-bearing worlds, was under attack. Massive ships hovered in its atmosphere, methodically destroying cities. The attacker's energy signature was unmistakable. "Draven Collective," whispered June, his voice trembling. "They've found another world." Everyone knew about the Draven machine intelligences that consumed planets, converting all resources into more of themselves. No civilization had ever successfully defended against them. When the Draven appeared, evacuation was the only option. "But this species doesn't have space travel," Tay pointed out. "They can't escape." Commander Hyun made her decision. "Send the Confederacy distress signal. Request immediate assistance." "Commander," June protested, "Central Command is 17 days away at maximum speed." "By then." "I know," Hyun interrupted. "But we must try. Send it on all frequencies." The distress signal beamed out into space, carrying detailed information about the Draven attack and the endangered species. The Volari didn't expect much response. Their outpost was far from Confederacy space, and few ships patrolled this frontier. Days passed. The probe continued sending footage of the planet's desperate defense. The native species fought bravely with primitive weapons that barely damaged the Draven machines. Cities fell one by one. On the 4th day, Officer Tay detected something new. "Commander! 3 vessels approaching at high speed." "Confederacy reinforcements?" Hyun asked hopefully. Tay shook his head. "No. Unknown design. And their speed." He paused, rechecking his instruments. "It's impossible. They're moving faster than any drive system we know." The 3 ships dropped out of what appeared to be folded space, a theoretical concept the Confederacy had never successfully implemented. They took up position near the outpost, their hulls dark and angular, bristling with what were clearly weapons. "They're hailing us," Tay reported nervously. The screen activated, revealing a creature the Volari had never encountered before. It stood upright on two legs, with two arms and a single head featuring forward-facing eyes. Its skin was smooth, without exoskeleton or scales. "This is Captain Jean of the Earth Defense Force vessel Retribution," the creature said. "We received your distress signal. The Draven are here?" Commander Hyun stepped forward. "Yes, they are attacking a developing world. But who are you? Your species is not in our records." Captain Jean smiled, an expression the Volari database identified as potentially friendly. "We are humans, from Earth. And we've been keeping it that way deliberately. How did you receive our signal? How did you arrive so quickly?" Hyun asked. "We've been monitoring Confederacy communications for decades," Jean replied. "As for how we got here..." She paused. "Let's just say we had motivation to develop certain technologies. The Draven visited our world 200 years ago." The command center fell silent. No one had ever survived a Draven attack. "Now," Captain Jean continued, her expression hardening, "give us the coordinates. We know exactly what these people are facing." The three human ships hung in space near the Volari outpost, their dark hulls reflecting little light. Commander Hyun stared at the main screen, still processing Captain Jin's words. Humans had survived a Draven attack? Impossible. You claim your world faced the Draven and lived? Hyun asked, her mandibles clicking with disbelief. "We did more than survive," Jean replied. Her face showed no sign of deception. "We learned from them." Officer Tay worked frantically at his console, scanning the human vessels. "Commander, their ships have energy readings unlike anything in our database. The power output is extraordinary." A soft alarm sounded as sensors detected movement. More human ships appeared, folding into normal space like wrinkles smoothing in fabric. First 5, then 12, then 30 vessels of various sizes materialized around them. "This is a battle fleet," Science Officer June whispered. Jin's image remained calm on screen. "May we dock with your station? We should talk in person." Commander Hyun hesitated only briefly. "Granted. Bay 3 is available." An hour later, the Volari command staff gathered in the meeting chamber. The door slid open, and 3 humans entered. They wore simple dark uniforms with minimal markings. Captain Jean led them, flanked by 2 officers she introduced as Navigation Officer Ran and Security Chief Wu. The humans looked strange to Volari eyes, soft-bodied creatures without natural armor. How had such beings defeated the Draven? "Forgive our surprise," Commander Hyun began. "Your species is unknown to the Confederacy." "Not unknown," Jean corrected. "Just underestimated. Your scouts visited Earth several times over the centuries. They classified us as pre-industrial, then pre-spaceflight, then early atomic age. Each time, they reported we were decades from achieving interstellar travel. That's what our records show," June confirmed. Captain Jean smiled. "That's what we wanted them to see." She placed a small device on the table. It projected a 3-dimensional image of Earth, then zoomed out to show its solar system. Hidden bases appeared on moons and asteroids. Defense platforms. Shipyards. 207 years ago, 3 Draven ships entered our system, Jean explained. We were barely reaching our own moon at that time. The Draven destroyed several major cities before we could respond. "How did you defeat them?" Tay asked. "We didn't, not conventionally," Jean said. "We got lucky. One damaged ship crashed nearly intact. We captured a second by sacrificing millions of lives in a coordinated nuclear strike. The third escaped." Security Chief Wu spoke for the first time. "We knew they would return. Our entire civilization changed that day. Countries that had fought for centuries united against this new threat. We studied their technology," added Officer Ran. "Reversed engineered what we could. Prepared." Captain Jean continued, "When we finally developed limited space travel, we discovered your Confederacy observing us. We realized the galaxy was filled with life and danger. So you hid your true capabilities, Commander Hyun concluded. Yes. We maintained the appearance of normal development while building our real technology in secret. We intercepted and decoded your communications. Learned your languages. Studied the galaxy without announcing our presence. The room fell silent as the implications sank in. This previously unknown species had been watching the Confederacy for decades. The Draven returned 50 years ago, Jean said. By then, we were ready. We tracked them to their central intelligence hub and made them understand something they had never faced before: extinction. We negotiated a truce. Officer Tay's antennae twitched in disbelief. You negotiated with the Draven? They're machines without compassion. They understand survival, Jean replied simply. And they learned humans are dangerous. Commander Hyun studied the human captain carefully. Why reveal yourselves now? Jin's expression softened slightly. Because another world is facing what we faced. And while we protect our secrecy, we won't watch innocent beings die when we can help. She stood up and approached the station window, looking out at the gathered human fleet. We detected your distress signal. We recognized the Draven energy signature. After confirming it wasn't directed at us, we came. The largest human ship moved into view, a massive vessel bristling with what were clearly weapons. Its name was visible on the hull, Defender. We need the exact coordinates of the planet under attack, Jean said. Every minute matters. Commander Hyun made her decision. Officer Tay, provide them with all data from our probe. As Tay transferred the information, Jean studied the footage of the besieged planet. They're using the same patterns they used on Earth, she noted. Targeting population centers first, then infrastructure. What will you do? Hyun asked. Jean turned, her face showing grim determination. What humans have always done when faced with monsters. Hunt them. She touched a communication device on her wrist. All ships, prepare for full jump. We deploy in 30 minutes. How many people will you send? Asked June. Jean looked surprised at the question. All of us. Humans don't leave anyone to fight alone. She paused. You're welcome to observe. The galaxy should know what the Draven truly fear. As the humans departed for their ships, Commander Hyun realized the universe had just become a very different place. The Volari observation vessel followed the human fleet at a safe distance. Commander Hyun had insisted on witnessing what would happen, bringing Officer Tay and Science Officer June. None of them spoke as they watched the human ships move into formation. They're preparing to jump, Tay noted, monitoring his instruments. Energy readings are increasing dramatically. The fleet seemed to stretch for a moment, as if pulled by an invisible hand, then vanished. 1 second they were there, the next, gone. Incredible, whispered June. Their full technology leaves no trace radiation. Commander Hyun had arranged for their vessel to follow using conventional faster-than-light travel. Set course for the coordinates. Maximum speed. Even at their fastest, it took the Volari ship nearly 6 hours to reach the besieged planet. When they arrived, they found a battle already in progress. The scene that greeted them defied all expectations. The Draven ships, massive black structures that resembled geometric nightmares, were in disarray. Human vessels darted between them with impossible agility, targeting specific points on the larger ships with precision strikes. They know exactly where to hit them, Tay observed, zooming in on the battle. See there? They're attacking the neural node clusters. On the planet below, smaller human craft had landed in the remaining population centers. Through their scopes, the Volari observers could see human soldiers in armored suits fighting alongside the native species against ground-based Draven units. Admiral Day is requesting communication, reported Officer Tay. The Admiral's face appeared on screen. Unlike Captain Jin's calm demeanor, Admiral Day looked focused and intense. Commander Hyun. I see you decided to witness this firsthand. We had to understand, Hyun replied simply. The Confederacy has lost thousands of worlds to the Draven. Yet you fight as if you know them intimately. We do, Day replied. We've been studying them for 2 centuries. Every weakness, every pattern, every strategy. On another screen, the Volari watched as human soldiers formed a protective barrier around a group of native children, their weapons cutting down advancing Draven machines. One soldier took a severe hit but continued fighting even as silver fluid blood, the Volari realized, soaked through their armor. Your people are willing to die for strangers, June observed with amazement. Admiral Day's expression hardened. When the Draven attacked Earth, we had no one to help us. Millions died while we learned how to fight back. We promised ourselves no other species would face that alone if we could help it. A massive explosion lit up the observation screen as a principal Draven vessel collapsed in on itself. Primary command ship neutralized, someone announced off-screen. Admiral Day nodded. Begin Phase 3. Deploy the field generators. The human ships released hundreds of small devices that spread throughout the battle area. When activated, they created a web of energy that seemed to interfere with the Draven ship's communications. What are those? Tay asked, fascinated. Neural disruptors, Day explained. The Draven function as a collective consciousness. Break their communication, and they become disorganized. True to the Admiral's words, the remaining Draven forces began to move erratically, their coordinated attack patterns dissolving into chaos. A human shuttle docked with the Volari observation vessel. The door opened to reveal Strategic Officer Bay, who had requested permission to brief the Confederacy observers. The Draven aren't invincible, he explained, showing them detailed schematics. They're simply an enemy the galaxy wasn't prepared to fight. We were forced to prepare. After our first encounter, humans restructured our entire civilization, Bay continued. While maintaining the appearance of normal development, we built underground cities, orbital defenses, and advanced weapons systems. We created a military trained specifically to combat the Draven. Why keep this secret from the Confederacy? Commander Hyun asked. We could have been allies. Bay's expression remained neutral. After studying your history, we had concerns. Many Confederacy species fear what they don't understand. We decided it was safer to remain hidden until we were strong enough that fear wouldn't lead to preemptive action against us. On the planet below, the battle was turning decisively. The ground forces had secured the largest city, and human medics were treating the wounded native species. A small child, afraid and injured, approached a human soldier named Commander Sunday. Instead of continuing the fight, Sun knelt down, removed her helmet, and spoke gently to the child, offering comfort. Your warriors show remarkable duality, June observed. They fight with terrible efficiency but show such care for the victims. They nodded. That's what makes us human. We can be your worst nightmare or your strongest ally, depending on which side of us you see. He paused. The Draven learned this the hard way. Now they avoid human space entirely. As they watched, the remaining Draven ships began to retreat, abandoning their ground forces. This was unprecedented, the Draven never retreated. Admiral, reported a communication officer over the open channel, they're broadcasting a withdrawal signal. Admiral Day's voice was firm. Let them go. They'll carry the message back to their collective. This world is under human protection now. Commander Hyun stared at the battle scene, realization dawning. How many other worlds have you protected like this, without the Confederacy knowing? Bay smiled slightly. More than you might imagine, Commander. Many more. The Draven retreat shocked the Confederacy to its core. Never in recorded history had the Machine Collective abandoned an invasion. News spread quickly through official channels, and within days, high-ranking officials from 12 major species arrived at the Volari outpost. Admiral Day stood calmly before the hastily assembled Galactic Council representatives. Behind him, 3 human officers maintained perfect stillness, their faces revealing nothing as the aliens studied them. We demand answers, began Council Elder Gora, his scaled skin flushing deep purple with agitation. An unknown species with military technology beyond our understanding has suddenly appeared in Confederacy space. Admiral Day nodded respectfully. We understand your concerns. Earth has monitored the Confederacy for decades while developing our defenses. Spying is how you repay the galaxy's hospitality, hissed another representative. The galaxy offered us no hospitality, Day replied evenly. When your scouts found Earth, they classified us as primitive and moved on. Meanwhile, the Draven were slaughtering our people. The room fell silent. On a large display screen, footage from the recent battle played. Human soldiers fought with coordinated precision that made even veteran military leaders uncomfortable. Science Director Min stepped forward. She was older than the other humans present, with silver hair and calm eyes. We wish to share information that will change your understanding of the threat you face. She activated a holographic projector. A complex star map appeared, with certain systems marked in red. Every red marker indicates a world where humans have intercepted and repelled Draven attacks over the past 50 years. The council members stared in disbelief. There were dozens of markers. Impossible, muttered Elder Gora. We would have known. Would you? Min asked. The Draven always destroy communication systems first. By the time you detected a problem, they would have already succeeded or retreated. Either way, you would never know humans were involved. Commander Hyun, who had been invited to the meeting, spoke up. I witnessed their battle techniques myself. They know the Draven better than anyone in the Confederacy. Because we had to learn, Admiral Day explained. 200 years ago, we captured Draven technology and began to study it. What we discovered was disturbing. Min tapped her control, and the hologram changed to show ancient symbols and technical diagrams. The Draven were created, not evolved. They are tools designed by an ancient species you call the Forerunners. A ripple of shock passed through the alien representatives. The Forerunners were legendary builders who had vanished millions of years ago, leaving only ruins and mysteries. The Draven were designed as a filter, Min continued. A test for intelligent species. Those who survive their attack are deemed worthy of advanced knowledge. Those who fail are eliminated, their resources recycled to continue the cycle. How could you possibly know this? Demanded one of the council members. Because we found their central intelligence, Day said quietly. After reverse engineering their technology, we located their hub world. Instead of destroying it, we initiated contact. The council chamber erupted in voices. The idea of communicating with the Draven seemed impossible. Day waited for silence before continuing. The Draven Collective recognized that humans had passed their test not just by surviving, but by turning their own technology against them. We negotiated a treaty. They avoid Earth space, and we made certain arrangements. What arrangements? Elder Gora asked suspiciously. We agreed to help maintain the balance, Day answered. The Draven will never admit this, but their programming is flawed. They become too aggressive, attacking worlds that have no chance to defend themselves. This violates their original purpose. So you've been secretly fighting them across the galaxy, concluded Commander Hyun. Protecting worlds without claiming credit. Yes, Min acknowledged. We built stealth outposts throughout Confederacy space. When we detect Draven activity, we respond. One of the military representatives leaned forward. If what you say is true, why reveal yourselves now? Admiral Day glanced at the continuing battle footage. Because the Draven are evolving. The attack you witnessed used new tactics we hadn't seen before. We believe they're adapting to counter our methods. And you need allies, Commander Hyun realized. We need partners, Day corrected. Earth has technology the Confederacy lacks. You have resources and knowledge we haven't acquired. Together, we might finally end the Draven threat permanently. The council members exchanged uneasy glances. After centuries of considering themselves the galaxy's most advanced civilization, learning that humans had surpassed them in crucial ways was difficult to accept. How do we know we can trust you? Elder Gora finally asked. You've hidden among the stars for generations, building weapons and ships beyond our understanding. Admiral Day smiled slightly. If conquest were our goal, this conversation wouldn't be happening. We could have revealed ourselves at any time. Instead, we chose to protect without recognition. He gestured to the display showing human medics treating injured aliens from the attacked world. Judge us by our actions, not our secrecy. We fight monsters because someone has to. The council chamber fell silent as the implications settled over them. Humanity hadn't just entered the galactic stage, they had been there all along, standing guard in the shadows. 6 months after the revelation of Earth's true capabilities, the Grand Hall of the Confederacy Central Station bustled with activity. Representatives from over 200 species gathered for a historic ceremony. Banners bearing the symbols of member worlds hung from high ceilings, with Earth's blue and green emblem newly added among them. Admiral Day stood at the entrance, adjusting his formal uniform. Unlike the practical battle gear he typically wore, the ceremonial dress felt stiff and uncomfortable. But today required formality. Nervous? Asked Science Director Min, joining him. Cautious, Day replied. Not everyone is happy about our inclusion. Indeed, the path to this day had been difficult. Many Confederacy species feared human military power. Others resented being protected without their knowledge. Trust came slowly, built through shared information and open demonstration of human technology. The massive doors opened, and they walked into the chamber. Thousands of eyes, some singular, others compound, some not eyes at all but sensory organs humans had no name for, turned to watch them. Elder Gora, now serving as temporary alliance coordinator between Earth and the Confederacy, approached. The council is ready for the formal recognition ceremony. Admiral Day nodded and followed him to the central platform. The chamber quieted as he took his position before the microphone. He looked out at the assembled representatives, recognizing Commander Hyun and her Volari colleagues in the front row. For generations, Day began, his voice carrying through the hall, humanity looked to the stars and wondered if we were alone. When we learned the answer, it came in the form of destruction. The Draven arrived without warning, without mercy. He paused, letting his words settle. But humans have always fought monsters. It's what we do. We fight so others don't have to. When we discovered the wider galaxy was threatened by the same enemy, we couldn't stand aside. Even if you never knew we were there, we stood guard. Murmurs spread through the crowd. Many still struggled to accept that humans had been secretly defending worlds across the galaxy. Today marks a new chapter. No more shadows. No more secrets. Earth stands openly with the Confederacy as partners. The formal treaty signing followed, with representatives from major Confederacy powers adding their marks alongside Earth's. With each signature, trading rights, technology exchanges, and defense agreements became official. After the ceremony, smaller meetings began. In one chamber, human engineers demonstrated their fold space technology to fascinated Confederacy scientists. In another, Confederacy biologists shared medical advances that could extend human lifespans. Officer June, one of Earth's veteran soldiers, had been assigned to the new training program. In a large gymnasium, he worked with young recruits from 12 different species. The basic principles of defense are universal, he explained, demonstrating a combat stance. Protect what matters, no matter the cost. A young Volari trainee raised a limb. Is it true humans fought the Draven with primitive weapons at first? June smiled. Baseball bats, kitchen knives, farming tools, whatever we had. Humans are resourceful when cornered. Across the station, Admiral Day and Commander Hyun walked through a quiet garden area designed to accommodate various species' comfort needs. Something still troubles me, Hyun said. Earth could have remained hidden. Why choose now to reveal yourselves? Day stopped beside a flowing water feature. Because we detected something beyond the galactic rim. Something that concerns us. Another threat? Hyun's antennae twitched with alarm. We don't know yet. But signal patterns suggest it's larger and more advanced than the Draven. We need allies with different perspectives and technologies to understand what's coming. Hyun absorbed this information silently. So humans weren't just protecting the galaxy out of kindness. Both can be true, Day replied. We protect because it's right, and because united we're stronger. In the main council chamber, Ambassador Han presented detailed star charts to the strategic committee. She highlighted several distant sectors where unusual energy readings had been detected. The Draven were just the test, she explained. We believe something else is evaluating the galaxy's defenses through them. And if we fail this evaluation, asked a council member. Han's expression remained calm. That's why humans never stopped preparing, even after our treaty with the Draven. That's why we need each other now. As evening fell on the station, celebrations began across various gathering places. Species that had feared each other for centuries found common ground in their new alliance with humanity. Music from a dozen worlds mixed together in harmonious chaos. In a quiet moment, Elder Gora approached Admiral Day. Your people are strange to us, the Elder admitted. Terrifying in battle, yet gentle with children. Building weapons while creating art. We don't fully understand you. Few species truly understand each other, Day replied. But we don't need complete understanding to stand together. From the observation deck, they watched as Earth vessels patrolled alongside Confederacy ships for the first time. The galaxy had changed forever. Humanity had stepped from the shadows, not as conquerors but as reluctant guardians. And beyond the rim, something watched and waited.